Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning. This Saturday test of
FM.
see the timetable. So in your notebooks, all of you give the heading for amalgamation chapter first of all, and in that intrinsic value method. I repeat, give the heading first of all again amalgamation chapter, so that you, when you revise it, you don't consider it as a topic of internal reconstruction. Okay, this is the topic of amalgamation, and in that amalgamation, all of you give the heading of intrinsic value method. Okay. Now you all have a disadvantage. What disadvantage? What is the disadvantage you all people have? The disadvantage you all people have is your second year BCom, second semester knowledge is incomplete. Is that a disadvantage or not?
Yes.
Sir,
How
but
many chapters? Yes.
this method वैल्यू पर से जो इंटरेस्टिंग वैल्यू की थी वो करा दी थी पहले सर ने.
हाँ, करा दिया है तो अच्छा है. अदरवाइज ओके, अदरवाइज कैसे कराई भी थी तो you would never take it seriously until you have exams and you prepare for that. Right. So this is the disadvantage, that in second year BCom, unit 3 and 4 were remaining to be done, and there was a lockdown. And this intrinsic value of shares method was covered in unit 3, valuation of shares. So I'll just give you a brief up of that first, and then we take up with what is intrinsic value method of purchase consideration. Okay. So first, all of you write down in the notebook intrinsic value method. That is the fourth method of purchase consideration. Okay. If you all remember, we discussed the four methods in the beginning, and I told you if it is done in college, then we will take up later on. So if you remember, in the first lecture itself, we discussed those things, but we did not take it up. Okay. And I told you we'll take it up later on if it is done in college. So net payment method was done. Net asset method was done. And after that, intrinsic value method I did not take up. So that we take up today. That is the fourth method of purchase consideration. Okay. Method of purchase consideration. Use the heading intrinsic value method of purchase consideration. Intrinsic value method of purchase consideration. Did you all give this heading, everyone? Okay. Now first understand what is intrinsic value of shares. So write down intrinsic value of shares is equal to intrinsic value of shares is equal to net assets available for equity shareholders. We always find it for equity shareholders. Intrinsic value of shares means we are talking about value of which share? Equity share or preference share?
Equity share.
Equity shares.
Equity share. Intrinsic value of share means we are talking about the value of which share? Equity share. Is that clear to everyone? So net assets available for equity shareholders divided by number of equity shares. Did all of you understand this? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So what is the
Yes, sir.
formula of intrinsic value of shares? What is
Net
the formula of
Assets
assets
are available for
equity
equity
shareholders
shareholders.
divided by number of equity
equity shares.
Yes. So did you understand this formula? Any doubts in that?
No,
No
sir.
doubt? Okay, if no doubts, then explain me what are net assets available for equity shareholders. What are net assets available for equity shareholders? You should have doubt. You should have asked it to me. What are net assets? Okay, net assets, you all understand in net asset method we have done it. What are net
Yes,
assets?
sir.
How do you find net asset method purchase consideration? Net assets means what?
Agreed value of
Yes.
assets minus agreed value of liabilities.
Correct. Agreed value of assets taken over minus agreed value of liabilities. And in that we have seen several notes. That assets will include only taken over, agreed values, intangible assets will not be included, goodwill will not be included. Do you all remember that? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So here net assets means agreed value of assets taken over minus agreed value of liabilities. But now when we say net assets available for equity shareholders, means in addition to liabilities, you also subtract preference share capital. In addition to liabilities, what else will you also subtract?
Preference
What else will you also
Preference
subtract?
shares.
Preference shareholders, preference share capital. So all of you write down where net assets available for equity shareholders, okay, where net assets available for equity shareholders is equal to agreed value of assets taken over. This we have done in net assets also. Minus agreed value of liabilities taken over. And what else will be minus? What else will be minus?
Preference.
Okay. Preference
Preference share.
share capital. Is that clear to everyone? Okay, any doubts in it? Okay, everyone is clear with that? Yes or no?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so everyone is clear with the net assets available for equity shareholders, how to find it? Any doubts on that? Everyone is clear or not? Hello, hello, hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
sir.
Yes,
Now
Yes, sir.
understand one thing. Now understand one thing. What is the relevance of intrinsic value method in case of purchase consideration? And I'll give you a shortcut method also of doing it. Okay, as usual. After solving one question, I'll give you a shortcut method also of doing it. Now suppose there are two companies, A Limited and B Limited. Which are the two companies? Don't have to write this. Which are the two companies?
A limited, B limited.
A Limited, B Limited. Suppose intrinsic value of shares. Which value of shares?
Intrinsic value.
Of A Limited is 40 rupees and B Limited is 50 rupees. Did you all get this?
Yes, sir.
Now if A Limited is taken over by B Limited. Now if A Limited is taken over by B Limited.
B limited.
So question arises, what will be the exchange ratio? What will be the exchange ratio? Means, do you all remember in questions we used to have For every 2 shares, 3 shares will be issued and so on. In purchase consideration, do we used to have this exchange ratio or not?
Yes,
Generally,
sir.
in net payment method of purchase consideration, we used to have this language. For every 2 shares of A Limited, 3 shares of B Limited are issued. This kind of language. Have we come across that or not? Have we come across this kind of language or not?
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now in this situation, with the help of intrinsic value of shares, how do you find the exchange ratio? Understand it? Then I explain you the shortcut method. Suppose there are 10,000 shares of A Limited. How many shares?
10,000.
10,000.
What will be the exchange ratio? 10,000 shares of A Limited, what will be the value? I'm asking you a question which you have to answer it to me. 10,000 shares of A Limited, what will be the value?
4 lakhs.
4 lakh.
Because what is the intrinsic value of shares of A Limited?
40 rupees.
40
What
rupees.
will be the value?
4 lakhs.
4 lakh.
Now in B Limited, you are going to give them shares which are of 50 rupees. Do you get the point?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Same 4 lakhs you are going to give in B Limited, but in the shares which are of what value?
50 rupees.
So should you give lesser number of shares or not? A Limited's value
Yes.
was 40 rupees. A Limited shares value was 40 rupees. Now if you give them 50 rupees value shares, will the quantity of shares given be less to match the total amount or not?
Yes.
Yes.
Can I
Yes,
say
sir.
4 lakhs divided by 50? If you are giving them 50 rupees value shares, then 4 lakhs divided by 50.
8,000.
8,000 shares.
Yes. There they are having 10,000 shares, but we will give them only
8,000 shares.
8,000.
8,000.
Is this actual logic of intrinsic value clear to everyone?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Explain it one more time and raise your hand if you did not understand. Then I give you a shortcut. Okay. Intrinsic value of shares of A Limited is 40 rupees. Intrinsic value of shares of B Limited is 50 rupees. My question is, what will be the exchange ratio? Means, how many shares of B Limited should be given to A Limited so that the total shareholding value remains same? Now, if there are 10,000 shares in A Limited, suppose we assume, then 10,000 shares of A Limited's value will be 10,000 into, because their IVS is 40, it will be 10,000 into 44 lakhs. Now, since in B Limited you are going to give 50 rupees value shares, 4 lakhs divided by 50, how many shares should be given?
8,000.
8,000.
Did you all understand this actual logic?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Please keep responding, otherwise how will I understand you're able to follow or not? Okay, that's why I've given you the rights to unmute yourself on your own. Now understand the shortcut method. What is the intrinsic value of shares of A Limited?
40 rupees.
B Limited?
50 rupees.
Now exchange ratio, just reverse it. What will you do? Just
Reverse.
Reverse.
if I reverse
Reverse
it,
it.
will it become 50-40?
Yes.
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 In terms of ratio, can I say 5-4?
5:4. Yes.
Means for every 5 shares of A Limited, you give 4 shares of B Limited. As I told you, you are giving 50 rupees shares, so will you give less shares or not?
Yes.
So against 5 shares of A Limited, you will give how many shares of B Limited?
4.
4. Now cross check. How many shares of A are there?
10,000.
10,000.
10,000.
So how many should be given of B? 10,000 into
10,000 into 4 divided by 5.
what does that come to?
8,000.
8,000.
See, did you get this or not?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
This is a shortcut method. Just reverse. Repeat, just reverse.
Just
Repeat,
reverse.
just
Just
reverse.
reverse.
The intrinsic value.
Just reverse.
Just reverse the intrinsic value of shares. Repeat, just reverse the intrinsic value of shares.
Just reverse intrinsic value of shares.
And you'll get the exchange ratio. Did everyone understand this?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So
Yes,
actual concept also I explained you and shortcut method also I explained you. I hope everyone is clear with that.
Yes, sir.
Write down as a note. Write down. To get exchange ratio, to get exchange ratio, just
Reverse it.
Just reverse it.
just reverse the intrinsic value of shares of both the companies. Okay, this shortcut method is not explained in any of the books, neither in college. College solutions also, if you see, they have explained the actual concept only. But by doing this, your answer will always be correct. Is this logic clear to everyone? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
let's take up with this
Yes.
question. Now, I think you people don't have this extra question done in college, right? What I will be doing is you
Sir,
all
what?
can collect, I'll give you the message, you all can collect the extra materials question from class, and that will be your Diwali assignment. Around 5 to 6 questions are done in college which are based on only purchase consideration calculation. Only calculation of
Purchase
purchase
consideration.
consideration, which we did in the initial lecture. Lump sum method, net payment method, net asset method. So that questions you try on your own in Diwali assignment. And why they are important, they are done new in the college. But we have already covered those kind of questions. So you try them on your own, then I'll give you the solutions also. The importance is in mid-semester exams. For short questions, these are important. They can be asked for 2 to 3 marks in mid-semester exams. Okay? Soumya from OP Road, unmute yourself. Soumya from OP
Yes,
Road.
sir.
Better you can get PDF, but always take the physical copy. Otherwise, marking, etc., you won't be able to do.
Okay, sir.
So collect the physical copies from the class. We have stopped issuing the soft copies. That is the reason. Because then how will you people study from soft copies only? Until and unless you do writing, marking, etc., your concepts won't become clear. Okay?
Okay, sir.
In exceptional cases, if required, we'll give you the soft copies, but advisedly collect the physical copies. Right now, all of you take the screenshot of this 5th question. All of you take the screenshot of this 5th question right now. Did you all take it? Did you all take
Yes,
it?
sir. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Now
sir.
look at the question. Now look at the question. Be attentive. Okay, look at the question. Bhumi Amin from OP Road, read the question.
Balance sheet of X Limited as on 31st March 2020 is given below.
Hmm.
Equity and liabilities, share capital, 3 lakh equity shares of rupees 10 each, fully paid 30.
Now 3 lakh shares are already
10,000,
given.
12% preference
Just 1
of
minute. Huh?
rupees.
Just 1 minute. 3 lakh shares are already given. Otherwise, we always have a habit of finding the number of shares. Do you all remember? We always used to do 30 lakhs divide by 10, 3 lakhs if not given. Because number of shares they will always require in our solution. But here it is directly given. Okay? Further?
10,000, 12% preference shares of rupees 100 each, fully paid 10 lakh.
Now here also
General
10 lakhs
reserve
divided by 100, 10,000 is already given. So we don't require it separately. Further?
General reserve 5 lakh, 10% debenture 12 lakh, trade
10
creditors
lakh.
20 lakh,
Total 75 lakhs. Then?
total 75 lakh. Assets,
Further?
sundry assets 75 lakh, total 75 lakh.
Now all of you be attentive. Y Limited took over X Limited. So what is Y Limited and what is X Limited?
Transfer.
Y
Which
limited
is
transfer.
Y limited trans.
Y limited is
X limited is transferring.
Y limited transferring
Transfer.
and transfer.
oh my god, so much of confusion. Which if Y limited took over X limited, which company is going into liquidation?
X.
X limited. It is
So that is transfer
transferring.
company. And new company purchasing it is Y limited, that is transferring company. Okay.
Yes.
Y limited took over X limited goes into liquidation, that is transferor company, and acquiring company Y limited is transferee company. Further,
Debenture holder of X Limited would be discharged by Y Limited at a 10% premium by issuing 12% debenture of Y Limited.
no relevance in purchase consideration. I told you, we include the payment only made to whom?
Equity, sir.
Equity shareholders. We include the payments made only to equity shareholders. So no relevance. Yes, it would come in transferee company's books in the last journal entry. Old debentures account debit to new debentures account, right? In the journal entry, it will have relevance, but no relevance in purchase consideration. Further,
Consideration. Preference shareholders would be discharged at a premium of 20% by issuing necessary number of 12% debentures of Y Limited.
what are preference share capital? What is preference share capital's amount?
10 lakh.
10 lakh.
10 lakh. Now they are discharged. Discharge means they'll get agreed value at premium of 20%. So how much we are going to pay them? We are going to pay them 20% more.
Yes.
Means against 10 lakhs, we'll pay
12
them
lakh.
12 lakhs. 10 lakhs,
Yes, sir.
20%, 2 lakhs more, we'll pay them 12 lakhs. So 12
12
lakhs, this we have to include in purchase consideration. We are paying to whom?
Preference shareholders.
So we have to include
Preference
it. Though we are
shareholders.
giving them debentures, that does not make any difference. What we are giving does not make any difference, but we are paying to whom makes difference. We are paying to preference shareholders, so we will include it in purchase consideration. 12 lakhs value is the amount payable to preference shareholders. Any doubts in that?
No, sir.
Any doubts? Yes. Further,
Intrinsic value per share of X Limited is rupees and limited is rupee. Y Limited will issue equity shareholders of X basis of intrinsic value of the two companies. However, the entries would be made at per value only. The face value of equity shares of rupees 10 each. Calculate consideration for amalgamation.
now see here, we don't have to find this intrinsic value. It is already given. 20 rupees and 30 rupees. Do you understand this,
30.
everyone?
Yes, sir.
We don't have
Yes,
to
sir.
find the intrinsic value of shares because it is already given. What value of intrinsic value of share is there of X limited
20,
20.
and Y limited
30.
30. So we don't have to apply this formula in this question because intrinsic value is directly given. But can we find this exchange ratio by the shortcut method or not?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What shortcut method? Below X you will write what value?
20.
20. Below Y you will write what value?
30.
30.
Now just
Reverse it.
reverse it. So what will be the ratio if you reverse 20, 30?
3:2.
3:2.
3:2.
Fantastic. Is everyone clear with this?
Yes.
Yes,
So we'll say
sir.
for 3 shares of X limited, 2 shares of Y will be
Y
given.
limited.
So for 3 lakh equity shares of X limited, how many shares of Y? Did you understand this intrinsic value method, everyone?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
let
sir.
us calculate it. So let us calculate it. Write down purchase consideration, or if you write down purchase consideration. First of all, we have to include the payments made to shareholders only. So first we will include the payment made to preference shareholders. What information is given regarding the payment made to preference shareholders? What information is given regarding the payment made to preference shareholders?
20% more.
Yes, 20% premium,
20%
20% more. So presently we have 12% preference shares of rupees 10 lakhs. Okay, presently we have 12% preference share capital of rupees 10 lakhs. In that 20% more premium. So we will add 20% premium, means what amount is of premium or more amount we have to pay them? 2 lakh.
2 lakhs.
So what is the payment that will be made to preference shareholders?
12 lakhs.
12
12
lakhs.
lakhs.
12 lakhs. How we are going to pay them? 12% debentures of Y Limited. So how
Y
many
Limited.
number of 12% debentures will be given? 12 lakhs divided by 100. The debentures always have 100 face value. So how many debentures would be given? 12,000.
12,000.
12,000.
12,000 debentures of rupees 100 each will be issued to satisfy 12 lakh rupees. Is this clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Now, second payment we take to equity shareholders by intrinsic value method. So first we write X Limited, Y Limited. What is the intrinsic value of shares of X Limited? What is the
20.
intrinsic value of shares of X
20.
Limited? 20. What is the intrinsic value of shares of Y Limited?
30.
30. Now just
Reverse it.
Reverse.
Reverse it.
So ratio would become 30-20.
30-20.
That means cancelling the zeros.
3 to
3 days to 2.
3:2. For 3 shares of X Limited, 2 shares of Y will be given. This is the balance sheet of X Limited. So for 3 lakh shares, how many? For 3 shares, 2 will be given. So for 3 lakh shares, how many? 2 lakhs. Is it or not? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
3 lakhs into 2 by 3, 2 lakh equity shares of rupees 10 each. Face value is 10, but what is Y Limited shares value? What is
30.
Y
That
Limited?
means
30.
30.
2 lakhs into 30, what value of shares we will give them? 60 lakhs. Did you understand this, everyone? Means 20
Yes.
rupees premium. Face value is 10, but we are giving them shares of 30 rupees value, means we are charging how much premium?
20 rupees.
20 rupees premium.
20.
And you can see X Limited has how many shares?
30
X Limited
lakhs.
has
3 lakhs.
3 lakhs. What is the value of X Limited share?
20.
20.
So 3 lakhs into 20, what is its value?
6.
60.
6
lakhs.
lakhs.
60 lakhs.
Are we giving them same 60 lakhs or not?
Yes.
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 But because we are giving them 30 rupees valued shares, we have to give them how many shares? 2 lakhs.
2 lakhs.
Did you understand
2
this?
lakhs.
Yes, sir.
Now 60 lakhs plus 12 lakhs. What will be the total purchase consideration?
72 lakhs.
72 lakhs.
72.
72 lakhs is the purchase consideration. Did everyone understand this intrinsic value method? Any doubts in it?
No.
No.
Okay, all are clear with this?
Yes, sir.
Raise your hand who did not understand this concept. I hope everyone is writing it, okay?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now take
Yes.
the screenshot of this extra question 6 done in college. Both these questions, soft copy, if required, I'll provide you. Otherwise, you can come and collect the physical pamphlets from the class once you get the messages.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Yes.
So let's solve question 6 and wind up with this portion. Question number 6. Okay, now who will read question 6? Dhwani Dave, read the question.
Following are the balance sheet of the X Limited and Y Limited as at 31st March 2020.
Make the correction, instead of A Limited, make it X Limited. And instead of B Limited, make it Y Limited. Did you all make the correction? A Limited will become X Limited, B Limited will become Y Limited. Make the correction. Yes, read it further.
Equity and liabilities, share capital, fully paid up equity, shares of rupees 10 each, 25,000, 40,000.
Now 25,000 means how many shares would be there in case of X Limited?
2,500.
2,500.
And in case of Y Limited?
4,000.
4,000.
Yes, 25,000 divided by 10, 2,500, 40,000 divided by 10, 4,000. Further?
General reserve 23,000, 50,000. Long-term loans 11,000, 20,000. Trade creditors 21,000, 23,000. Short-term provision 5,500, 31,000. Total 85,500, 1,64,000. Assets, tangible fixed asset 41,500, 80,000. Goodwill 1,000. Current asset 43,000, 84,000. Total 85,500, 1,64,000.
Yes. Okay, further.
X Limited is absorbed by Y Limited.
Which company is going into liquidation?
X.
X is absorbed by Y Limited. X is going into liquidation. X is absorbed by
By
X is transferor company and Y is transferring company. Did
Transferring.
everyone understand this?
Yes.
yes.
Further?
Goodwill of X Limited is worthless.
So we will not take this 1,000. We will take nil. When we find net assets, here we have to find intrinsic value by this formula. What formula? Net assets divided by number of equity shares. So when you find the agreed value of assets taken over, we have to take goodwill at what amount?
0.
Nil, because it is given it is worthless. Is that clear?
Yes.
Further?
Tangible fixed asset of X Limited are valued at rupees 39,500.
So here instead of 41,500, when we find net assets of X Limited, what tangible assets value we will take into consideration?
31.
Instead of 41,500, what value we will take into consideration?
39.
39,500. That is the agreed value of asset taken over. Further?
Shareholders of X Limited are given equity shares of Y Limited on the basis of intrinsic value of both the companies.
So first we'll find the intrinsic value and then just
Reverse it.
Reverse it.
to find the valuation of shares to be given on the basis of intrinsic value. So calculate the intrinsic value of equity shares of both the companies and amount of purchase consideration. So here we have to find this intrinsic value. Is everyone clear with this question? Any doubts?
No.
Make two columns, X Limited, Y Limited. Both the companies' intrinsic value we'll have to find to get the exchange rate. Okay. First, we find this net assets. How do you find net assets? Agreed value of assets taken over minus agreed value of liabilities taken over minus preference share capital. But do we have preference share capital in this question?
No.
No, we don't have. So we'll take up with first agreed value of assets taken over. Okay, first we will take up with agreed value of assets taken over. Okay, now tell me which are the assets first. Which is the first one? Or which is the first one?
Tangible fixed asset.
Tangible fixed.
Tangible fixed assets. What will we take? 41,500?
No. 39,500.
39,500.
39,500. And in case of Y Limited, we'll take 80,000. Okay. Then should I take goodwill?
No.
No. Y
No.
does not have it and X value is worthless. So directly I'll take current assets. What is current assets of X
43,000.
and Y?
4,000.
84,000. Now 40, 70, 79, 82, 500 and 1,64,000. Do you all get this?
Yes.
Now from that we'll subtract agreed value of
Liability. Taken.
liabilities taken over. Okay, from that we'll subtract agreed value of liabilities taken over. Which are the liabilities? Will we take general reserve?
No.
No.
No. Liabilities means only external liabilities. Okay. Will we
Yes,
take
sir.
long-term loans?
Yes.
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 So long-term loans. X limited is how much?
11,000.
11,000. Y limited is how much? 20,000.
20,000.
Then creditors 21,000 and
23,000.
23,000. All of you are writing
Yes.
creditors
Yes.
21,000 and 23,000. Then short-term provisions 5,500 and 31,000. Okay, short-term provision 5,500 and 31,000. So what is the total agreed value of liabilities taken over? B. 21, 32, 37,500. Is it?
Yes.
Yes.
20, 40, 70, 4,000.
74.
So what are net assets? Okay, net assets. Do we have preference share capital?
No.
So
No.
this itself are net assets available for equity shareholders. Net assets available for equity shareholders A minus B.
45,000.
Okay, A minus B means agreed value of liabilities taken over 82,500. Sorry, assets taken over 82,500 minus agreed value of liabilities taken over 37,500. So
45,000.
45,000. And 1,64,000 minus 74,000 is 90,000.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, what are the number of equity shares? See in the balance sheet, what are the number of equity shares of X Limited?
2,500 and
Y
4,000.
Limited, 4,000.
6,000.
6,500 and 4,000. So if you divide the two, will you get the intrinsic value or not?
Yes,
What is the
sir.
formula of equity? What is the formula of intrinsic value of shares? Net assets available for equity shareholders divided by number of equity shares.
Number.
What is 45,000 divided by 2,500? I think 20, yeah, 20. Right?
18. 18.
2,500 into 25, 50,000. Sorry, 18 rupees. Yeah. Do you all get 18 rupees? 45,000 divided by 2,500? And 90,000 divided by 4,000, 22.5.
Yes.
What is this? This is intrinsic value of shares. Now, exchange ratio just
Reverse it.
reverse. Means for every 22.5 equity shares of X Limited, you will give
18.
18.
shares of Y Limited. Now, X Limited has how many shares?
25.
22. 20.
2,500 equity
500.
shares. You will give how many? 2,500 into 80
18.
divided by 22.5. How many shares will you give?
2,000.
2,000.
2,000 equity shares. Now face value is rupees 10, but we will give at what value in Y limited? Sorry, in Y limited.
80.
So Y limited the intrinsic value is 22.5.
22.5.
2.5.
What is 2000 into 22.5? 45,000. So what is the purchase
45,000.
consideration? 45,000. What is the purchase consideration? 45,000. Now cross check. How many shares are there in X Limited? How many shares are there in 2,500?
2,500.
What is their intrinsic value?
18.
So 2,500 into 18, their value is also 45,000 or not?
Yes.
Yes. But to give same value of 45,000 for 22.5 rupees share instead of 2,500, we will give them how many shares? 2,000 shares.
2,000.
Everyone understand that?
2,000.
Yes.
So this is the new point done in college intrinsic value method, and it can be asked in MCQ. Can it be very easily asked or not? Can it be
Yes.
easily asked in
Yes.
MCQ? They can ask you. They can give you the intrinsic value of shares of two companies, and it is very easy for you people. Just
Reverse it.
reverse it. You'll get the ratio, and you can directly find on calculator how many shares are to be issued. So from MCQ point of view, this intrinsic value of shares method is very important. Otherwise, in 15 marks question, they won't ask you. But from MCQ point of view, these questions of intrinsic value are very important. Got it, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Now see, next week is Happy Diwali.
Happy Diwali to
Okay.
you, sir.
Happy Diwali.
Happy Diwali, sir.
So called Diwali,
Vacation
otherwise we all know that we all have Diwalas in this year. Okay. For namesake, we will celebrate Diwali this year. Otherwise, everyone knows what has happened this year. So, you all will be given the message. So collect that assignment material. Total 4 questions are only there. How many?
4.
And vacation is of how many days? Roughly 19 to 20 days. We'll reopen on 29. Okay. So if you find this intrinsic value
29.
exchange ratio, yes, we'll reopen on 29. If you find this exchange ratio intrinsic value of shares for 4 questions, 20 days. So for 1 question, how many days? 5 days. I don't want any excuse that you have not done. Okay. How many days do you have for
Yes,
1
sir.
question?
Yes, sir.
How many days do you have
5.
for 1 question? 5
5.
days. एक एक सेंटेंस भी
5
every day. एक एक